Hi, good morning everyone. I hope all of you guys are doing well. So today in this particular class, I'm going to discuss mistakes that aspirants should not make, should avoid, or the don'ts of the UPSC exam. The UPSC Civil Services exam needs you to know not only what you should be doing, but what you should not be doing. What you should not be doing. And an aspirant, it is important to know what you should not be doing, because a lot of times we focus on things so much. We are in the race to do so many things. We are in the race to do so many things that we forget that if we do these kind of things, then we are going to be at a disadvantage. So today I'm going to tell you things that you should avoid when you're preparing for UPSC, so that your overall UPSC journey can be much more fulfilling. It can be much more efficient. You spend less time making mistakes and actually more time making progress. So you can see the list of the things here, but I'm going to discuss them one by one and tell you in detail what do I mean by them. So the first one is not understanding the PYQs analytically. See, most of the aspirants I see, they jump right into the sources of UPSC. Like they will jump into various books they're studying. They will start reading Lakshmikant. They will start reading Nitin Singhania's Art and Culture, or whatever books. They will start reading notes. They will start reading notes by coaching institutes. But what they will not do is, they will not do an analysis of previous year questions of prelims and mains. You need to sit down and understand the pattern of UPSC paper first. Pattern of UPSC CSC paper, where you need to understand what all is coming from syllabus, what kind of a syllabus that UPSC has given, and what kind of questions, then corresponding questions UPSC is asking from this syllabus that UPSC is given. And then you have sources, and then you also can understand what kind of sources from where questions are coming. You know, when I was an aspirant, what I used to do was, I will tell you a secret technique that I used. I used to actually go back and Google all the different prelims questions, at least 10-20 of them. I used to Google these questions, the topics that they were asked for. Just Googling the question is not enough, because if you Google the question, then obviously all the results are going to be tallying with the UPSC paper. But I would Google those topics. So for example, if a question has come from environment, asking about some kind of a topic from environment, I would actually go ahead and Google just those keywords from that question. And I would try to understand, okay, the question is coming from here. The question is being picked from either this news or this particular kind of material, or it is being covered in these kind of overall syllabus. Okay, so that is very, very important that you understand where the questions are coming from, because that way you can target your studies more in that direction. That is very, very important. So understand where the questions are coming from, do a Google search, understand the pattern by understanding what kind of questions are coming and which part of syllabus and what kind of sources these questions are coming. And then after that, you also need to understand the kind of questions that are coming in the previous year questions papers. So for example, there are, let's say in one GS paper, there are 100 questions. Out of them, there are around 25 easy questions that every aspirant will be able to do. So if there are 3 lakh aspirants sitting for exam, most of these aspirants, almost 50% of these aspirants will be able to answer these 25 questions, easy questions. But you have to be in the what? You have to be in the top, 2-3%. Because approximately 10,000 people will be selected for the next step. So if you want to be in the top 2-3%, you have to get these questions right. You cannot afford to get these questions wrong. Out of these 25, your hit rate should be like 23-24. These are easy questions. These are that are put there by the UPSC, so that the basic, very basic level of your knowledge is tested. So because prelims is a test of elimination then more than anything. So if anyone is not getting these right, that means they have not even bothered to open the book properly or study properly. So you have to get these 25 questions correct, most of these. Okay, so these are the easy questions. The second kind of questions are going to be your thinking, analytical effort needed, where there little effort needed is kind of questions where you need to put in some thinking, you need to think twice, you need to apply your analytics, which are doable. These are doable meaning with a little bit of effort. You must have come across these questions in your sources, in your studies, and you should definitely get these questions also at least 80 to 90% hit rate. You should get 80 to 90% of these questions correct. These will be at least 10 to 15 questions. Okay, so at least 10 to 15 questions. These could be 25 to 30 also, but these will be 10 to 15 questions. So these are doable, these are analytic, these will take you more time, and your hit rate could be 80 to 90% here. So if you combine these two, you will get almost 40 to 45, 50 questions here itself. 40 to 50 questions you will get here itself. You will make some mistakes, so you can reduce that all obviously by 5, 6 plus minus. Then there will be harder questions, and then there will be not doable questions. These harder questions are the ones that will require a little bit of guesswork, that will require a little bit of using your second degree thinking, where you do not directly know the answer but you can derive to that answer. These are from the topics that are harder comparatively. So these harder kind of questions, at least 10 to 12 questions are there which you can get correct. See, I am giving you almost same level of number of questions is because even these are harder questions. A lot of times you are able to get these right because you have studied that topic. So that is why even these questions, while they might be hard for a normal aspirant, for someone who's seriously preparing, they can get these questions correct. So in addition of even 5 to 10 questions here, so you can get you to 60 questions, which is a very high number. You will always qualify for prelims if you get 60 questions correct. And then there are not doable questions around. I would say there are always 20 questions, maybe 20 to 25 questions, which are definitely never doable because they are so out there that no one is able to. Most people are not able to get them right. Maybe some people are able to get them right. The key is UPSC paper after every year prelims. What happens is aspirants, if the question is a little hard, then aspirants focus on this hard and not doable part. आपका फोकस यहाँ पर है. The problem is prelims focus of every aspirant is here, not here. But this is what is the key. If you get these correct at high hit rate, then this is not going to matter much because यहाँ पे ही आप 40-50 questions निकालोगे and then you will be able to clear the prelims. But most people are focusing here. This UPSC came out with such hard paper, this and that. They are not focusing on this paper, which is very doable. That is the problem. Yes, maybe sometimes there will be more questions in this category, but then the cutoff will also go down, no? Then again, this is going to get you through, not this. Don't focus on this. Everyone focuses on this and waste their time. No one focuses on this. Okay? So my request to you is follow this, and you will be able to definitely do good preparation for your prelims PYQs and prelims questions in general. Okay? So this is done. Let's move on to the second part. What mistake you should not make? Ignoring the core subjects, which means you're not following the 80-20 rule. What does that mean? That means I will explain to you what are the core subjects of UPSC. Core subjects of UPSC I have told you 100 times. Polity, environment, econ. These should be mastered at any cost. If you master these subjects, almost 50% of the paper is coming from here. 50 to 60%. What are the harder subjects? Medieval, ancient, history. Art and culture is also very massive, but it's not hard, much more doable. Okay, these are comparatively, I found them to be the harder parts. Then geography is also kind of, you can put it here. If you get this also, if you master this, little bit harder to master, then 70% हो गया आपका cover. बट अगर यहाँ पे इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू लेट्स से मास्टर दिस, देन यू कैन काइंड ऑफ लीव दिस, एंड देन करंट अफेयर्स, उसमें आपका आई फर्दर डिवाइड करंट अफेयर्स इनटू डिफेंस, साइंस. The science is not just current affairs, but science is also other than current affairs, science and tech. You should understand the basics of science and tech. I am surprised that a lot of students actually lose marks here. They will prepare history very well, but यहाँ पे marks जो easy questions यहाँ से बहुत सारे आते हैं वो lose कर देते हैं. तो basics of science and tech you should also understand. Divide current affairs into different parts also, and see what are the different kind of questions coming from current affairs. Okay, like organizations, national, international level organizations, यहाँ से questions आ जाते हैं. And there are some questions that are repeating. Approximately 5% kind of topics are repeating every year. These 5% you should get correct. So this is the heavy part of your preparation. If you focus here and pick the right kind of things from here, you are through. But if you keep focusing on topics that are endless and there is no source for it, there is 5 sources for it, and you are wasting so much energy, then you are wasting your time. Okay, so that is the point. That 80-20 rule is what? 80-20 rule is that basically life में 20% of your decisions or 20% of the things that you do will contribute to most of your success. And 80% of the things will be pointless. They won't matter much. But we end up not focusing on these 20%, we end up focusing on this 80%. Like I said, ये वाला बताया था आपको कि यहाँ पे फोकस करते हैं, जो मैटर नहीं करता यहाँ फोकस करना चाहिए. सिमिलरली यहाँ पे भी ऐसा ही होता है. जो सब्जेक्ट्स पे वी शुड बी फोकसिंग, वी आर नॉट फोकसिंग ऑन दैट, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट वी लूज आउट. So focus, use this 80-20 rule to your advantage. Focus on these subjects, master them, practice them, do a lot of PYQs, and parallelly do these also. It is important, and you will see your life will become much easier. Okay, simple to understand. Ignoring concepts. The source and the book conundrum. What is this? This is simply the fact that lot of times we are focusing on too many books, we are focusing on too many sources instead of focusing on concepts. UPSC aspirants ask me, sir, whether we should read Spectrum book for history, modern history, or should we read Bipin Chandra? This is a moot question. What does that mean? This is a useless question. You can read both. Why not? Bipin Chandra का ही सारा gist Spectrum में है, except some additional topics. So once you have read Bipin Chandra, will it be hard to read Spectrum? No. If you have read, let's say, world history NCERT book, will it be hard to read some other world history book which also has similar content? No. So why are you afraid of reading more books? Tell me that. Why are you afraid of reading more books? Tell me this. Why are you afraid of reading more books? You can always read more books, because anyways once you have read one main book on one topic, you can revise from another book which has it given the same thing in a different language. There is nothing wrong with that. So this whole idea created by a lot of toppers, I would also like to blame, that एक book पे पढ़ो, एक sources को limit करो, वो थोड़ा सा weird है, because you are not focusing on concepts then. You're focusing on book and sources and things like this. That does not matter. What matters is, हाँ sources अच्छे select करो, अपना fundamental strong बनाओ. But after that, if you are adding other resource to getting to understand that topic better, it doesn't matter. Okay? So reading more than one book doesn't matter. Ignoring concepts matters. Don't ignore concepts. Concepts की पूरी आपकी एक list होना चाहिए, और वो concepts clear होने चाहिए हर topic के. Okay? Now, one of the things is how to improve the productivity. Lot of times, lot of new smart studying techniques are coming in the market, and that can be an overload. So there has to be a good balance. Good old way of studying is very important. Good old way क्या है? Routine है. Every day morning you wake up, you study, you develop your own routine, whatever it is, but you have a good old way of studying. You are not completely using iPad, iPhone, कंप्यूटर में ही नहीं बैठे हो 24 घंटे, बुक्स में नोट्स भी बना रहे हो. So there has to be a good mix of studying the old way, where this is good old hard work, I must say, hard work that you need to put in, because I believe that it's not always about just trying to improve something. हम हमेशा efficiency, आजकल इंजीनियरिंग के ज़माने में ना, we are running behind efficiency too much. We should not run about behind efficiency so much also. Sometimes we have to just do things the old way, and that is the best way. But along with that, whatever can improve that old way a little bit, step by step, that we should also definitely incorporate. So we should not complicate, but we should balance things. So I combine both of these ways. I used to use Excel to plan my studies. I used to use notes. I used to make some notes online on Evernote or something. So I was using these new study techniques, but I was also sticking to the good old hard work. So I was not completely switching to all digital mode and etc etc. I was also writing notes and making doing writing practice etc, because which is important in this exam. You must remember that. So balance is very very important. Time management, I have told you 100 times about it. Most aspirants fail because they don't manage their time. 8 hours a day is a must in this exam if you are preparing full time. If you are not preparing full time, then weekend पे time दो. Time निकालना पड़ेगा, hard work करना पड़ेगा. There is no shortcut to success. So that is very very important. So poor time management is something that you have to tackle. I have made good videos on this topic. You can refer to them. And finally, note making to the extreme. I have seen students make notes like crazy, which is very very sad. वो पहले दिन से बैठ जाएंगे, बुक खोलेंगे एंड उनका और कुछ नहीं, बस नोट्स ही बनाए जा रहे हैं. They are opening a book, history book, they are writing each and every word from it, they are highlighting each and every word. What is the point of that notes? Notes are supposed to be something that you can revise from later on. So they have to be very very short, to the point. And to do that, you have to first understand the pattern of the exam, like I told you here. And once you understand this pattern of the exam, you will be able to make better notes. नोट्स कैसे होने चाहिए? एक पेज में नेक्सलिज्म है, दो पेज में आपका पूरा कीवर्ड्स हैं. लेट्स से आप यू आर स्टडिंग इंडिया फ्रीडम स्ट्रगल एंड यू आर स्टडिंग द रोल एंड द contributions of tribal uprisings to the India's freedom struggle, then that note should not be more than 1.5 page. Why? Because if you're studying about tribal uprisings, who were the main persons, where did they happen, and what were the reasons? These are the 3 things you need to know. उससे ज़्यादा आपको कुछ लिखना है नोट्स में नहीं, तो उसका पूरा राम कहानी लिखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. यू कैन जस्ट राइट द नेम ऑफ द पर्सनैलिटीज, द मेजर ट्राइब्स दे केम फ्रॉम, विच रीजन दे केम फ्रॉम, एंड वाई डिड दे अपराइज अगेंस्ट द ब्रिटिश. These things only will come in the exam. उससे ज़्यादा कुछ आएगा नहीं. और उसको फिर याद करने की या फिर ऐसे मेमोराइज करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. उसको 2-4 बार पढ़ लोगे, समझ में आ जाएगा. बिकॉज दीज पीपल, ट्राइबल uprisings happened for a particular reason, and those reasons are very obvious. Those reasons are not something that is not obvious. So you can always remember those things easily. So therefore, don't make that mistake of note making and wasting your time. For that will lead to poor time management. So these are the things I wanted to talk to you about. I hope you learned something. Don't make these mistakes. These are the don'ts of this exam, and that is also important to know rather than just knowing the do's. Okay, take care, bye bye. And if you have any questions, let me know.